Good evening, everybody. Madam Clerk?
We're up to the city manager.
Okay, Vinnie, your report.
Thank you, Mayor. As far as the item number 1 on the calendar agenda is discussion to introduction to ordinance, it's chapter 117 under parks. It's a change to the administrative rules regarding the various parks in the city and the capability of installing or administering certain administrative rules. An example would be if one of the, on a turf field, if there's snow on it, we might, suspend it for a certain period of time. It gives us the authority to do that through my office. That's the only change in that ordinance. The second one is the Linden Street parking spaces. Should have a packet, there's this diagram that kind of makes it a little bit easier to understand since it's very sophisticated ordinance. I don't know, Steve, do you have any comments on the Linden Street ordinance?
Yeah, so we went through it, our engineers felt we could get 3 spaces where they don't currently exist. And it turned out the signage wasn't really, it's between Clinton and Anderson. The signage was not exactly what the code said. So we've gone through that and we've revised the code to match what, to add these 3 spaces, have the no parking area where it needs to be and a 30-minute parking area where it needs to be. So hopefully we did it correctly. I think the police department said we did, so, because it was a little bit tricky trying to figure out exactly what went where, but I think we're good now.
Yeah, your manager, PD, actually went out and measured everything, and everything is correct according to Steve's administration of the ordinance.
Is the goal here to get more parking spaces?
Yes, and we did,
Okay.
and we did.
And also fix the code because,
Right.
sometimes, signs go up, but it's a very complicated chapter 170, which is our parking. And so sometimes over the years, may not have been looked at, someone puts up a sign that may or may not have an ordinance that backs it up, and we always want the signs to match the ordinance.
Right, but from what I read, there was a lot of no parking on the west side, and so those were already no parking, they just weren't noticed properly?
No, it was determined that they could fit 3 spots in an area that was previously no parking.
Okay.
So if you're coming, because it's a southbound street, right? Because so you're on the west, so I guess if you're going south, you'd be east.
On the west side?
Yeah, it'd be on the west side, that's right. And so there was no parking pretty much most of the way down the block, and there was a feeling that you could get 3 spots in from the corner. You go in, whatever it is, the 50 feet from the corner, you put 3 spots there, and you're not directly in front of all the driveways and all the houses on there. So it was just.
And then the rest of it, there's no parking going.
Then the rest of it is no parking, and then past there's several houses, then it becomes a little commercial strip.
Yes.
That's 30-minute parking.
That's the pizzeria, et cetera.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Item number 3, I'm going to turn it over to our project manager, Ryan Westra, regarding the Main Street Streetscape project.
Evening, everybody.
Evening.
We got some good news about finally the section between Sussex and Atlantic, the top grant portion that was federally funded. We received the letter and the agreements several weeks ago from DOT, which we had a meeting with our engineer, Ms. Boswell, for the design portion of that project. And we came up with a bid schedule. Because it's FHWA, you have to advertise for 3 consecutive weeks. And then all that schedule has to get approved by DOT, so we sent it to DOT, and we finally got that approval back. So the advertisement schedule is, the first 3 weeks is gonna be April 4th, 12th, and 19th. And then bids will be accepted on May 10th. And then the project schedule, once we have a pre-construction meeting, hopefully we'll have everything wrapped up by beginning of December this year. So that last portion will be the new sidewalk, paver banding, streetlights, and other amenities.
Ryan, when you say wrapped up, that means project complete?
Yes, sir.
Finally, this was awarded, what, 2014?
several, before my time here, yeah.
Yeah.
15, 16.
Is there a way to schedule, I know we've had tree issues getting them in the right time for planting. Maybe the trees can be planted early during the project, I
Yeah,
don't know
we'll
if
look
it's feasible.
we'll look in that, because we don't have a bidder yet, so,
Right.
I could talk to Bob, since it's federal, there's other, we might not be able
Right.
just to go buy and purchase the trees ourselves, so I'll have to look into that.
Yeah.
But,
I'd just like to see
once it
get a
gets
head
awarded,
start.
maybe that's the first step we could do, is have them, procure the trees.
Otherwise, the trees will be a whole year behind the project.
Yeah.
While you're here, how are we making out with the trees? We were having issues on Main Street.
Yeah, the,
So what are we doing, where are we now with that?
the,
They should start blooming soon,
yeah.
we'll say, or not.
Yeah.
These were the ones, most of them were not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
DNR,
Okay.
they did the assessment, Suburban reviewed their assessment, and, was in agreement with most of the trees that need to be replaced.
Are they gonna get replaced?
Yeah, it's basically a maintenance center, they have a maintenance bond on them, anything that doesn't bloom within a year, within this year, they have to replace anyway. We're just waiting for,
It's almost here. It is spring, right? Is the first day of spring?
So they're gonna be, if they need to be replaced, because I know we went with a little bit of a lesser tree,
Yeah.
because the other ones weren't available. Are they gonna be replaced with the same tree, or the tree we ordered originally?
we can see if we can get them, yeah.
I mean, I'd rather go with a better tree if you're gonna replace it.
It was, I think that 4-inch caliper was hard to get,
Yeah,
last year.
okay,
All right, good, thank you.
you're up again.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Brian's gonna go into, this combined sewer and the stormwater and parks update
Yes.
up on the screen.
I have one other in between that, I don't know. Okay. The city applied for some congressional funding through the omnibus spending bill. We received notification yesterday evening that we did receive the $1 million for the Clay Street project. So that's good. And that was through, like I said, the omnibus spending bill through President Biden. So we got that, and it's the $1 million for the overall Clay Street project. What's good about that is, obviously it's $1 million, but it's also for fiscal year 2022, which now we're jumping into 2023, so we can immediately apply for more. All right, now we'll go on to this. Okay, this is a sewer improvement update for March 22nd. The Clay Street sewer separation in progress from March 8th through the 16th is approximately 280 lineal feet of box culvert installed on West Camden. That block is between Main and State. We also installed 28 feet of 8-inch new sanitary sewer through that section. We had to take it out to install a box culvert, so we installed brand new. We have 100 lineal feet of 12-inch structural lining that was installed on Maple Avenue. 1,034 lineal feet of 18-inch structural lining that was installed on First Street, and then an additional 217 lineal feet of 22-inch structural lining that was installed in the area of First Street and Franklin Place. We were allowed to do this because we took some lining out of other areas, so we used this outside of the Clay Street project for known structural issues that we had. The active construction is the contractor is currently continuing with the lining efforts along First Street and Prospect, and they're also continuing with the box culvert install on West Camden. I believe either tomorrow or Thursday they're going to be crossing into State Street, so we're moving right along. The Clinton Place sewer replacement that has been completed, I followed up with the resident to see if they had any continuing issues. I haven't heard back, so no news is good news. So we're hoping. Voorhees Lane pump replacement, the the temporary interim pump was replaced. We're waiting for the lineal work, which is going to anticipate for end of March, beginning of April to start. And we also awarded the furnishing and install of the new pump station in Fletcher Kramer last meeting. Both the sewer jettings, the large diameter and the Hudson Street are ongoing, continuing, there's no issues there. They're continuing to clean and camera for additional so that we could plan for additional improvements in the future. On tonight's meeting, the Clay Street Contract 2 is going to be awarded, which covers the box culvert from the entrance of Fasheen to the river. And this is going to be where this project, the whole Clay Street area, is going to discharge to, so that finally the separation will be complete. And then as we go, continue across the rail. We have a couple park updates as well.
Before you leave this, the CCTV, say that fast, that has been done so far, have they found any issues with that?
I haven't gotten any of the footage yet, but just, minor, structural
No
issue,
real
nothing,
breaks or
nothing major. If anything, there are a couple point repairs here and there. So I think that lower end of town is more, heavy cleaning will do a lot, and then any repairs will make done with it and continue, because
All right, just
some of that
keep
area is
us
already
aware
set.
there are repairs that need to be done.
Yep.
We want to, again, make the best decisions, I'm sure you will, going forward, if there's really some issues, we may have to do some work down there.
No problem. And, park update, we, recently were awarded, a Green Acres Grant Award. This was submitted last year. This is gonna be a Columbus Park Phase 2, which is, the new playground area, as well as, some ball field improvements, as you can see in the rendering up there. The playground improvements include, new surfacing, because it's, the existing mulch. We're gonna get rid of that and do the poured-in-place safety surfacing, swings in a 5 to 12-year-old, play structure. And the softball and soccer field, along with some drainage grading and the associated restoration. And also included in that is improvements to Carver Park. We've included the resurfacing of the 3 tennis courts that are there. They're getting in pretty bad shape, there's a lot of cracks.
Those basketball courts, right?
Yes. Yeah. And that also includes existing fencing and gates. I also have an update on Sky Park. The contractors removed the existing building and they're gonna start remobilizing again next week to do some site work. And the Phase 1 Columbus Park improvements, the contractor started yesterday doing demo and some.
Okay,
That's all I have.
very good.
Thanks so much,
Ryan.
Ron.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan.
Have a good evening. Thank you.
That's all I have, man.
All right. With that, I need a motion to open to the public, please.
Awesome.
Need a second? Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg. Aye. Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia is absent. Councilmember Carroll. Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Anybody from the public who would like to speak, please come to the podium, give your name to the clerk, and whether you live in Hackensack or not. Anybody from the public want to speak now? Okay, need a motion to close to the public.
Awesome.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg. Aye. Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia is absent. Councilmember Carroll. Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. All right, so we're gonna reconvene back in closed session because we didn't finish our workshop, and we will be back out at 8 o'clock. Okay? Good.
See everyone at 8 o'clock.